Since the mid-'80s, Dennis Quaid has been injected into Martin Short's body, has jumped on a piano as Jerry Lee Lewis, took part in an OK Corral shootout, and joined forces with a dragon that talked like James Bond. At least he did so in his films. It should come as no surprise then that he has reinvented himself once again. In his new film, Savior, he plays an American mercenary in Bosnia. Quaid first won attention as a sweet-talking New Orleans detective in The Big Easy. He also starred in other successful films of the 80s, such as Inner Space, DOA, Everybody's All-American, and Great Balls of Fire. Married to actress Meg Ryan, also the brother of actor Randy Quaid, who was on this show in 1995. I am pleased to have Dennis Quaid on this broadcast. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Charlie.
It's really great to have you here.
Great to be here.
This is, I mean, it's just a long time coming, and I'm pleased. Since The Big Easy, we've wanted to have you on the program. This film is fascinating to me. A, because this broadcast has had an interest in the former Yugoslavia, both in terms of Bosnia and Croatia and Serbia, because we're interested now in what's going on there, as well as in Kosovo, because what's come out of that war has been interesting reflections of the culture, interesting writers, interesting poets, and interesting filmmakers. Before we start talking about this movie, tell me about the director.
The director is Peter Antonijevic.
Yeah.
He is from
I want to hear you pronounce the name before I took a shot at it.
He's from the. We call him Gaga. That's
Gaga. That's much easier.
It's a nickname for him. There. He's from the former Yugoslavia. He's from Serbia.
Yeah.
He's a man who loves his country, Yugoslavia, for what it was.
Right.
Loves Serbia as well. He was actually imprisoned for 60 days in solitary confinement because his crime was that he made a film that parodied the then communist Milosevic regime.
Yeah.
And from that, he had trouble getting work, and 7 years ago came to this country.
And this film?
This film came about, it was written by an American, Robert Orr. He was an assistant to a Reuters news photographer on the Croatian side of the war, as his point of view from where he saw it. And he met a soldier of fortune who related the story of how he found this baby and took him to a Red Cross camp. And from that grew, out of that grew the screenplay for our piece. Mr. Antonijevic, he added some personal touches of his own from his experiences of the war, from stories that he'd heard, and of course his point of view. And it's an amazing account. It doesn't pretend to be a reporting of the war, but it's really a microcosm of all war, the way the story turns out.
In what way?
Well, it speaks of to all of us. All of us have prejudices, minor or major, and it speaks to how when all of us, when we're stripped of our own humanity and we come to see others as different than ourselves, how we're all capable of violence and hatred. And in the end, it's also that we're all worthy of redemption.
Yeah. I don't want to give this away. I never have quite known how to dance around this, but I mean, there is an extraordinary act of violence in the beginning.
Yes.
There was a...
Yeah, there's my character that I play, he is he's working for an embassy in Paris, and there's a terrorist explosion. His wife and son are killed in that. And this sends him down a road of hatred and revenge. And at the beginning of the movie, my character is someone who is emotionally and spiritually dead. He's a dead man. He himself commits some unspeakable acts of violence,
because there's a dead soul there.
Yeah, and the film, I mean, it's difficult to watch, and sometimes because it does look right at its subject matter, which is war, and it doesn't blink. Really, it doesn't romanticize war. It doesn't sensationalize these acts of violence. You'll see. I mean, you see movies all the time where our hero will shoot 20 of the enemy, and then they'll have the love scene right after this. Yeah. All the acts of violence in our film has consequence to it, and really deep consequence. And the story is really this man's crawl back to regaining his own humanity.
And he does that how?
He's assigned to save he's assigned to take this woman and her baby back to their village. She was a prisoner of war, and she was raped, and she became pregnant while she was a prisoner of war. You know, and he takes them back to her home village, and she's rejected by her family and people.
It really does show you. I mean, if you sit at this table and talk to enough people, you get at least reflections of the horror of war. You know, that it is not just soldiers and combatants who are killed. You see it in every way. And especially have we seen it now because of the power of television and media. I mean, you see it in graphic forms with their reporters, because of satellite reporting every day, and almost at the time of, you know, immediately aftermath, and seeing the fact of how many innocent civilians are victimized by war.
And that's,
you know, and especially in the Balkans War.
And we don't really see it on television. Being there, I mean, I went to Sarajevo, and to be there was a much different experience than seeing it on television. It's something completely outside of my realm.
Tell me about that.
Well, I went there for one day to Sarajevo. There was to get out of the airport and see blocks upon blocks of apartment buildings and homes that are just rubble, completely leveled to the ground, and they can't even go back and clean them up because they're mined.
Yeah.
And children are playing, you know, among the rubble still. There's not one building that didn't have some kind of war damage, and I think the most devastating of all was to see the skating rink there in the center of the city that was used for the Olympics, and about 20 to 30 acres around that, which was the parking lot, is a makeshift graveyard where Croats, Serbs, and Muslims would bring their dead at night because of the snipers.
Did you read or prepare or talk to anybody for this any differently than?
Yes, I knew a guy who was a bodyguard in Paris, and he was ex-French Foreign Legion, which my character is.
Right, he's a Foreign Legion.
And through him, I met with a couple of people who were soldiers of fortune, mercenaries over in that war.
And what'd you learn from them?
Well, like I said, this character was really far from my experience. I've never been in combat, and nor do I ever really want to. And but to get inside their minds, as an actor, I'm interested in what makes people tick, in human nature. And
that's what
I think
the show is about.
The thing that really was sort of the key for me in his realm of thinking is he took out like snapshots of his adventures over there, and he was showing me, oh, here's my friends, and here's where we ate, and where we slept. Here's my friend shaving in the morning, and here's my friend dead that afternoon.
We have a clip. Roll tape. Here it is. Savior. Talk a little bit about your career. I mean, you wanted to be an actor for a long time. I mean, this is a family of actors.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been asked that before, and I think there's really kind of no good reason why I'm an actor, but at the same time, it's sort of my father was a frustrated actor, and my cousin is Gene Autry, and my great-grandfather was a vaudevillian, so I guess that has something to do with it.
Do you have any regret about it? I mean, have you seen anything? Do you say to yourself ever, I mean, my God, I wish I'd taken the other road?
Oh, man, I just love acting. I really do. I love the study of human nature, and that's the way I look at it. And as a kid, I used to go to the movies, you know, and I'd see like Steve McQueen and, you know, The Great Escape or The Sand Pebbles or whatever, and I'd come out of the film and I would be the lead guy.
Right.
I would just walking home from the mall. I would feel like I was the guy in the movie, and you know, I wanted to do that.
After the Big Easy, there was this great sense that you were going to be a huge star, correct?
Well,
did you read your own press?
No, I didn't read my own press. I got a lot of that, but you know, I never. All I wanted to be was really a working actor, and to really just do the kind of roles I wanted to do.
I mean, was there time? How has this sort of? When was the Big Easy made?
I don't know, 85?
85,
something like that.
I mean, since that time, and all of that came out of that, and everybody remembers that love scene, I know, regardless of what age they were, and all the talk about you, and then the Jerry Lee Lewis film. You know, is the career and the way you see it today different than it was then? I mean, have you, in a sense, changed the sense of what you want to do and how you feel about it? Or
well, maybe for me, no. For me, my career has really gone the way I wanted it to go.
Which
I think there was a lot of expectations maybe about me to become like this big sort of like star doing doing 20 million by being in a band. That's never really what I wanted. I always saw myself as a character actor who does leading roles.
Yeah.
And my choices, I think, are not what I would call popular choices, as a general rule sometimes. And
I know they're not. I mean, people say, "Why is he doing?"
I'm attracted to things that are sort of off center, that are not exactly what I would call, the popular culture movie.
Why is that?
That's just my nature. I've always been attracted to the offbeat,
to something that's more interesting to you that you can look at.
I find those choices to sometimes be more truthful, I think, than things that are just written for a demographic. And to me, a lot of Hollywood movies are written for a demographic to sort of, please people. Like they'll make a film and then they'll go out and they'll screen it for a preview audience. And if the preview audience doesn't like this or that, they'll take it out. But rather than wait, I wanted to be an actor because of the way films were done in the 70s. When the director was sort of star, and that they were able to go out and make films that.
It hasn't been like the 70s, has it, for a while? I mean, there have been books written about how
even
movies
the 70s
were made.
Weren't like the 70s. I mean, they had Earthquake,
but you had
and
people
they had,
like Francis Ford Coppola, and you had, the rise of actors like De Niro and Pacino, and people who were shaping the way films were made.
Yeah, there were new things going on. They were taking real risk. People like to talk about taking risks, but they were really taking risks back then.
Yeah. You made a movie in 1990. You directed
a new way of film acting.
Preceded by Brando or by Pacino and De Niro and those guys?
Well, Brando really started it.
Yeah. What was it that he started?
He started a behavior. It was a behavior, and there was such a reality to his acting. There was something really new. His persona. I think, in any age he would have been.
It was grittier, more real.
Yeah, he just was who he was. There was the actor studio came along, and but I think when Brando really hit the scene, I think you could see people acting. Yeah. There was the star system, which was great. Like Jimmy Stewart and people, wonderful movies that I love, and I love those as actors. But Brando seemed to really inhabit a part. You couldn't see the acting.
You just saw the character.
Yeah.
And the character was larger and bigger and more interesting than characters you'd ever seen.
That's what Nicholson had, and that's what Pacino and
De Niro. You directed a film in 1998?
Yes, I directed a film for TNT for television. What
was the title?
It's Everything That Rises.
About?
It was about a ranch family struggling to keep their head above water in Montana. Yeah. And then the son is injured tragically, and then they just go from
that's right. Because I didn't see the film, but saw some attention.
Yeah.
Did you live in Montana?
Yeah, which is great. Being the director, I got to, my first set was 2 miles from my house.
Why do you live out there? The answer is why not live out there.
Yeah, right.
But why live out there for you? I mean, what is it about the West and that part of the Northwest that turns you on?
I can go out my front door and turn left. I can go 100 miles without crossing a road.
Or seeing anybody.
Yeah. And there's not too many places like that left nowadays. And it's getting closed in. There's people moving closer and closer all the time. So I just keep buying the land around me. They say, well, I don't want to own all the land in Montana. I just want to own the land that's next to me. But
that's great.
That's it. And it's really true quiet. Like this can't be found. And I don't think I could live there all the time. I mean, it's 6 months of really deep winter. Yeah. I like to visit winter. I don't like to live there.
So you act in the winter and stay there in the summer.
I like the city too, but I just love it.
Yeah. Does Meg stay? I mean, does Meg love the West as much as you do? Does she love that lifestyle as much as you do?
I think it's become an acquired taste for her. But we really had such a great summer there. Last year, our little boy is 6 years old, and we had a bear in the yard, and wild animals. And
Harrison Ford tells this story that because he lived at Jackson Hole, and I guess he has a lot of land, and his kids would just could walk out in the backyard and see all this stuff, and they were just sort of blasé about it. So Harrison moves to New York, and he has an apartment on the west side of Manhattan, and his kids spend all the time at the Central Park Zoo gawking at the animals.
Go watch the polar bear.
There's something the way it is. I mean, if it's there, obvious for you, it's not as enticing as it is if they're somewhere in a zoo somewhere where you can look at it.
Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. She has made a difference in your life.
Incredible, yeah.
I mean, in the tough times when the going was rough for you, been there.
Yeah. Yeah, I was. That was through my, I guess, my wild days, you might say. I became addicted to cocaine and alcohol, and for a while there, and I'm 8 years sober now. But she was there throughout the whole thing. I don't know why, but she was.
Yeah, well, I think you can probably clearly see why. I mean, she knew there was something at the other end of the tunnel.
Well,
probably.
she's just an incredible person.
Yeah.
And I'm just really so proud of her, the way, because I've watched her career, from the little girl, from the girl who did soap opera, who was Betsy on the soap opera, to she's a world-class star.
A world-class star,
and,
appeared with Tom Hanks in a Nora Ephron film.
She's an amazing actress, who I think has really not had a chance to really fulfill her potential yet.
This is a terrific film. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
A very interesting idea, and it's a pleasure to meet you. I hope you'll come back.
Thank you.
Dennis Quaid, back in a moment. Stay with us.